Thank you for inviting me to speak, and thank you to Rukmini for introducing this program as well as myself. And it is always a joy to share this very holy, beautiful, and much needed knowledge. So we will begin with the Shanti mantra for this particular Upanishad. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. The word Upanishad itself tells us what its purpose is and what it does. This is how it is with almost every word in the Sanskrit language. The meaning of the word is embedded in the word itself. Like the word khaga, which means bird. Khe gacchati iti khagaha. That which moves in space is bird. Of course, it could also be a plane, or it could be Superman. So anything that moves in space. Okay. So like this, the word meaning and the word itself are very much inextricably linked together. And the word Upanishad is no exception. Here too we find the linkage of what the word is and its meaning. The root verb for this is shad. Shad, and it has two prefixes, upa and ni. Upani, and then these are the prefixes. Prefix means the word pre in the word prefix is a prefix, okay? So that's what prefix is. And so upani plus shad. The word shad is interesting because it has three meanings. The word shad itself has three meanings. First meaning, visharati. Visharati means destroys. Destroys. The question is what? Anartha vratan visharati. Whatever you don't want, it destroys. Oh, but there are so many things I don't want. Yes, the Upanishad destroys all of them at once. How? Why? How can it destroy all the things that I don't want? Because if I take all the things that I don't want in my life, plus all the things that you don't want in your life, and he doesn't want in his life, and she doesn't want in her life, all those things, there's be a lot of things to destroy. Plus, there is the added inconvenience that all the things I don't want might be the very things that you want. So if all the things I don't want are destroyed, then the things that you want will also get destroyed. What to do now? How is this Upanishad going to destroy all the things that I don't want, and all the things that you don't want, and all the things that he doesn't want, and she doesn't want, and they don't want in one fell swoop? This doesn't seem quite right. There is some problem here. How is this even possible? Well, that can be possible only when what ultimately seeing beyond the surface level likes, dislikes, problems, situations, and the beyond the, when you look ultimately beyond what I don't like and what you don't like and what he doesn't like and she doesn't like and they don't like. This is possible only when all the things that people do not want is just one and the same. Then you can say it destroys completely. Shad, the first meaning to destroy. But how can it be the same? How can what I don't want and you don't want be the same? Yes, it can be the same. There are so many things that are, that connect us even on the empirical level. There are, you know, there is the condition, the human condition that connects us. What is the human condition? The ability to complain. Okay, ultimately that is what the human condition is. The ability to to cry, to complain all the time. So this binds us. That is why there is a saying, misery loves company. So this connects us. And then so many other things also connect us like this. And then when we look deeply into this human predicament, this ability to complain, which is common to all, when we look deeply into this ability to complain, we find that we have a complaint about the ability to complain. This is where the Upanishad takes us. Nobody is happy being a complaining person. And why are there complaints? Because I don't get always. In fact, always is just a euphemism. I never get what I want. That is the reason for the complaint. Do you like being a complaining person? No. Do you like being a wanting person? No. Because the complaint is connected to not getting what I want. So do you like being a wanting person? No. So why is it that, what is it that I want and what is it that makes me a wanting person? A sense of lack or insecurity centered on the I. Wherever the I obtains, that is exactly where there is a sense of insecurity. Do you like being an insecure person? No. Then we take this even further. What is the root cause of this insecurity? Why this insecurity? Why is it that there is an insecurity centered on the I? Then, for this we go to the Shastra, the teaching, and the teaching says that the insecurity centered on the I is primarily due to Atma Ajnanam, self-ignorance. What do you mean by self-ignorance? I know I'm sitting here, I know I'm this many feet tall, and I know my weight, although that is not shared with everybody, but one knows the weight, and then what? And then one is, one knows one's height, one knows one's occupations, and one defines oneself by various relationships, son or daughter of so and so, mother or father of so and so, spouse of so and so, friend of so and so. This is who I am. What do you mean by self-ignorance? Well, all these are identities, definitely. But the one that presides over these identities is not fully understood. That witness consciousness, the I, when I say I am a teacher, that I, that I am is not fully understood. This is Atma Ajnanam. Because the I is not fully understood, it is mistaken to be what it is not, and its glory is elusive. This is why one needs to study the Upanishad. Just like a hose pipe lying in the backyard in the dark, and it's not fully dark, it is twilight. You go out, you just see an object lying there, and to make the example more interesting, it has three bends, tribhangi, and then what? You immediately jump and are afraid because you think it's a big snake. And then what? Thankfully, you have your smartphone, which does everything other than phone calls. It does everything in addition to the phone calls. What else does it do? You know, it has a flashlight, and you turn on the flashlight over the snake and find that it is the same hose pipe with which you watered the lawn, and then with which you were too tired to put away the day earlier. Encountering it in the evening, you got scared because while you could see an object there, you could not understand what is this object. Same thing to do with the I. I am is experienced. This is Anubhuti Swarupa. Atma, I. Atma, the word Atma means I. The word Atma, I, is what? I am is experienced all the time. I am. What are you? Thinker. I am hearer. I am seer. I am eater, drinker. I am doer. I am experiencer. The I am is always there as the experiencer. It's a matter of experience. I am is always experienced. And then, so this I am, which is very dear to me, which is very, very familiar to me, this I think I know, because it is self-evident. Self-evident means what? I don't have to ask anybody if I exist. My existence is always evident. It is evident to me without needing a validation and a ratification from some other source. That I am is abundantly evident to me. This is something which is very wonderful. So therefore I say the I is partially known, like the rope or the hose pipe sitting on the lawn, coiled like a snake. And so it is partially known. And in the example there is dim light. The dim light makes it appear. You can see that there is an object, but you don't fully know what the reality or the truth of the object is. And so therefore you need to shine the light on the object to fully understand it. In the same manner, the I is there and it is understood as existent. But then the nature of this existence as infinite, all-pervasive, all-knowing, without a second, and that which is equated to the Lord, to the cause of the universe, is not understood. The flashlight that helps us to understand the nature of the I is called Upanishad. So the first meaning of Shad is to destroy. What does it destroy? All the wrong notions with which the I has become one with. The I, not knowing itself fully, identifies with all the things it is not, naturally. Just like the snake example. If you don't know it is a rope or a hose pipe, you make the mistake of thinking that it is a snake. Why? Where is the snake? There is no snake there. But there is a snake somewhere. Where is the snake? In the head. The snake in the head is projected onto not an unknown object, not a known object, because the projection cannot be done to an object that is completely unknown. It's impossible to project over an object that is unknown. So an unknown hosepipe, an unknown rope cannot be a place where the projection is made. The fearful projection. And suppose if I know the hosepipe as hosepipe, the rope as rope. If I know the rope as rope, then there is no cause for aropa. That means projection in Sanskrit. No cause for aropa. Because if on a known object, there cannot be a mistake centered on the known object. And there cannot be a mistake centered on an unknown object. That's why the Atma, which is partially known, it is known as I am. But please don't ask the next question. What is that question? Who am I? What am I? Don't ask the next question until you are ready to, until you have a lot of time so that all the complaints can come out. This is the thing. So on this unknown Atma, if the I is totally unknown, you cannot have fearful projections. I am a mortal, I am an idiot, nobody loves me, why me? And I am dharmic and nobody else is dharmic. I never thought that I am a dharmic person could be a matter of complaint, but it becomes a matter of complaint when you look around and when you assume that other people are not dharmic, and that becomes a matter of complaint. And so these complaints show that this I am has gone and joined the complaints, because the I am, the nature of this I is not understood. That's why the first meaning of the root verb shad means to remove. The teaching cannot proceed until and unless the mistake centered on the I, mistaking the I, which in the vision of the Shastra has no problems whatsoever, no sorrow whatsoever, no fear whatsoever, no samsara whatsoever. What is samsara? Samsara is an endless life of becoming. Becoming what? You tell me. Why should I answer all the questions? You tell me. Well, I want to become famous. Bingo. Okay, when is fame enough? Is it enough when you Google yourself and you find a few hits? No, the other person has more hits. Okay? And so then what? I want to be a biggest hit. And then what happened? Did you succeed? No, I got hit by somebody else who is more famous, more accomplished. And this leads one to a frenetic pursuit of trying to become something or the other. When you teach Vedanta, you have to have permanent air quotes like this. Yeah, so the Vedanta teacher should walk around like this, because everything is as though everything is like this. So did you become famous? Not enough. Did you become rich? Never enough. Are you loved? Of course not. Not in the way that I want to be, not in the manner that I would like to be. And this happens to be the universal complaint. Vedanta deals with that which is universal, never that which is particular. Because that which is particular belongs to the realm of of options and choices in the everyday. And what we are talking about is very much in the everyday, but it is belonging to an order of reality that is that happens to be free of the very things that one is complaining about. So the first meaning of the word shad, actually shad means to remove. But then, with the human mind, you know that nothing in this universe is permanent. We all know that, including a removal. Why? Because you know this. If you do a little bit of gardening, you know this very well. You remove what are called weeds. You think they are weeds. The dandelion doesn't think it's a weed. It thinks I'm a wonderful flower that can reproduce very easily. Just go foo, and then you have so many siblings all over the lawn, all over the flower bed. And besides, the dandelion thinks, I am a herb. I am very good for the liver in Ayurveda, in Western herbology. Dandelion is very, very good for liver detox. But from the eye of the gardener, this is a weed. Remove it. So you remove the weed. Sometimes there are some sprays which is a weed killer. And then what happens? Then you say, my garden, my flower bed is the best, east or west, and I am in love with this garden. Just 1 month, give it a month. Because the dandelion, is Ananta. It comes back. Tada! Here I am. Suddenly, you thought you had removed it, it comes back. So just like sorrow, you thought you had removed it. With an extra large popcorn and a Netflix, all night Netflix, you thought you had removed it. It is called, what is that? Binging. Popcorn is also binging, but this is visual binging. Okay? So you thought you had removed the sorrow, but then the popcorn is over, so are the movies, and you're sick of the movies and the shows that you are watching. And then what? The sorrow is back. The discontentment centered around on the self is back. The pain is back. The emptiness is back. Despite of watching movies back to back. Okay. What shall we do now? Let us go to the second meaning of the word shad. The second meaning is avasadayati. Destroys without a trace. Destroys in a way that it is not possible for it to come back. When is it not possible for it to come back? When it is uprooted. When there is no trace of the root remaining. And the root cause of complaints, discontent, sorrow is not understanding who I am fully with the flashlight as seen by the flashlight of the Upanishad. Okay? And so therefore, the second meaning is very important because it gives the seeker a much needed hope after being disappointed all of one's life, seeking something or the other, thinking this is the real thing. This is the real thing. That real keeps shifting. That's how we know it is not the real thing. At age 2, the teddy bear, or what is appropriately termed as the security blankie, the blanket is the real thing. At age 5, it may be some kind of a toy that one is addicted to. At age 10, it could be friends, or it could be something else, like a bike or whatever it is. At age 20, it is starting with that. It is definitely the smartphone. This is the real thing. Marriage, even the sixth marriage, this must be the real thing. What about the other 5? That's not the real thing. And this is how all the commercial companies capitalize on this. And now, if you want to say the real thing, you have to pay money to Coca-Cola, because Coca-Cola has branded itself. This is the real thing. It's the shifting a reality. Are you happy with this kind of a shift, the shifting of that which is real? Never. Because the very definition of that which is real should be, it should not be shifty. It should not be moving. Gaining which one should be able to relax. That is what we call real. And so therefore, the second definition of the word Shad means that it destroys this self-ignorance without a trace, so that that which is real can shine. That which is real cannot be outside of the eye. There is only one reality. According to the Upanishads, and not just according to the Upanishads, it is sensed. It is sensed within the heart. That is why everyone, no matter what they pursue, are in the pursuit of that ultimate reality. The problem is that if it is not known that the seeker is the self, one will become an infinite seeker rather than the seeker of the infinite. Big difference. Small word play, but a very, very big difference. Better to be the seeker of the infinite rather than an infinite seeker. If you are an infinite seeker, you will never be happy, never be satisfied, always becoming, always wanting, always craving, always needing, always sad. But if you are a seeker of the infinite being you, the quest is finite. Which leads us to the third and final meaning of the word Shad, which is what? Brahma Gamayati, leads you to that reality called Brahman, which is yourself. It cannot be outside of yourself. Because, think about this, because if this reality, that which is infinite, that which is limitless, that which you want to be, is outside of yourself, then there will be a seeking which is similar to other things that you seek, starting with ice cream, chocolate cake, etc., etc. You have to go, you have to look for it, you have to get it, you have to eat it, and then you are satisfied for the next 1 hour, and then the wanting starts again. If Brahman is an object, it will be like pursuing any other object in the universe, which leaves you wanting, because the subject-object fusion, subject I, object anything that I want, when they come together, the idea is that there is some happiness or there is some kind of a timelessness produced. This is the mistake. Timelessness is not a product, neither is happiness a product. If you think of timelessness as a product, then it becomes time-bound. If happiness is an object, it becomes time-bound. That is why the last meaning of the word Upanishad is that it repatriates you with the truth of yourself. The truth of yourself is already there. The happy I is waiting to express itself patiently, And in fact, it even shines through all the complaints. It is so accommodative, this happy I. It doesn't compete with the unhappiness. It even broadcasts the unhappiness. The Satchidananda I is the happy I. The limitless I is the happy I. That is the truth of myself. It is universally sensed. And so therefore, it is not opposed to anything. It is not opposed to sorrow because it is beyond that ecstasy and agony, that kind of a dyad. It is not opposed to insecurity because it is the most secure thing in the world. It even brings the insecurity to light. And insecurity centered on the self, when it is brought to light, is what is what broadcasts as I am insecure. The I is never insecure. That ahankara, the I notion, which identifies as I, is insecure. So the insecurity, the sorrow, the fear, etc., they are all like an eclipse. And as the eclipse covers, we can't say covers, that's why I said, the Vedanta teacher has to permanently walk with air quotes. So, as though covers the sun. The eclipse as though covers the sun. In fact, it is because of the light of the sun that you can even view the eclipse. Similarly, it is because of all-knowing, all-pervasive, everlasting, infinite I that you can know that, oh, I feel a sense of lack. I feel a sense of want. I feel insecure. This eclipse is taken away by the light of knowledge. And then what? And then the sun-like self shines without inhibition. This is what the Upanishad does through a unique methodology of shedding the wrong notions connected to the I because of the mistake centered on the self, and the mistake is due to not knowing the truth of the I completely. So the I becomes a sitting duck for all kinds of notions, fears, tears, everything. So the Upanishad sheds those notions. So what is the English word for Upanishad? Upanishad. Yeah, it sheds what you don't want. It sheds the pain. It sheds the fear. It sheds the wrong associations. This is Upanishad in English, Upanishad in Sanskrit. But what about Upa and Ni? These are prefixes. The word Ni means definitely, Nishchayena. Because the jiva who is studying this, jiva means individual. The individual who is studying this has to have some hope. Definitely it's going to remove the sorrow, the fear, all the things you don't want. Oh, okay, then I will look into it. And then upa means it will remove it by making you familiar with the thing that is closest to you. And what is closest to you is not your bank account, even though it might be beloved, not even your spouse, even though that might be beloved also, but you yourself. By revealing the truth of yourself, that self which is the closest to you, the most dear to you, by revealing it to be one with the cause of the universe, the Upanishad makes one release, let go of small identifications which are the cause of fear and sorrow. So the word Upanishad has within it the sense of the agent that removes sorrow, the agent that removes fear, the agent that removes all the mistake. So we should add an ER to the word Upanishad. So the Upanishad means Upanishadar, the agent of the removal of sorrow. Then why is the ER not there? It is there. It is there, but it is elided, because there is an invisible suffix called quip pratyaya. And this quip pratyaya, why is it called quip? Because it equips the word Upanishad to act like an agent of the one that removes sorrow, fear, etc. So just like, we have certain words to form agent nouns in English, we add er. Think, the agent of thinking, thinker. Do, the agent of doing is doer. Eater, drinker, goer. This is what it is, But then you have the one who eats, eater, the one who thinks, thinker, the one who cooks. Huh? Can you say cooker? No, that would be wrong. One who cooks is a cook. The ER here is silent. Similarly, the one who removes sorrow, Upanishad, the ER is inbuilt in it, but it is silent. So this agent of the removal of samsara is what one studies, is what one exposes oneself to. This is not a matter of belief. This is a matter of understanding and assimilation. And so necessarily what happens here is that since it is something to be understood, I, the one who is the one who is wanting to understand, have to expose myself to these teachings. And that's why the teachings are always in the form of a dialogue. There are questions, there is something not understood, those questions are answered, and then there may be still more questions. In the famous dialogue between Uddalaka and Shvetaketu, he asks many questions throughout. And 9 times he says, please repeat this, I want to know more, please give me an example, I don't follow. There should be room to say that. Otherwise it's not, it's not a teaching otherwise. Because this is not something like, the Upanishad is not something that is a declaration, a kind of a commandment, so to speak. Like, you are the whole. Okay, I believe you. That's not going to remove the sorrow. You have to understand it for yourself. Therefore, it is in the form of a dialogue. We have so many dialogues. The famous dialogue between Nachiketa and the Lord of Death, Yama, in the Kathopanishad. Everybody enjoys that. And of course, the dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita. Who doesn't enjoy that? Arjuna represents all our questions that we want to ask. He asks for us throughout the Bhagavad Gita. And then in the Brhadaranyaka Upanishad, there is one more dialogue, a very, very sweet dialogue between a husband who is a sage and his wife Maitreyi, who is also a sage. A dialogue between two erudite people. The dialogue starts off with a very interesting, statement made by the sage Yajnavalkya. Are Maitreyi, oh dear Maitreyi. And what does he say? Nididhyasanam. I would like to go to the forest. They were already living in the forest. I'd like to repair to the deeper sections of the forest in order to become a sannyasi, in order to renounce this life. So the renunciation, if you want to renounce this life, you can't just get up and go. You have to get permission from your mother. The father, not so much. It doesn't matter. You have to get permission from your mother. and your spouse, and if you have a minor child, that permission also you have to take, because these are the people who, the mother brought you to life, and then the other two people are maybe depending on you for their wellness, for their everything, for their livelihood, etc. So you need their permission. So he's asking Maitreyi for permission to go and renounce this life. What does she say? Not so fast. uh-uh. Oh, because I can't live without you, and because I have to have you around? No. Mind you, I told you Maitreyi is herself very, very erudite. So why is she stopping him? Because he tells her, I'm leaving you with lots of money. You will not want for anything, and I'm off to the forest. And she says, will this money that you're giving me give me the same thing for which you are going to the forest? You're leaving me with money and you're going for Amritam. Amritam means you're going for that infinitude, that which is everything. You're going for that Amritam. You're going for that immortality. Leaving me with the money, will the money make me immortal? Oh, Yajnavalkya. And being an honest man, he says no. Why? We will see that in the next session. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.